by the springtime of 2024, I was kind of just at a dead end with trying to figure this out. I really felt like I had done everything that I possibly could, while also making sure that I don't spiral into whatever they were trying to spiral me into, but mainly just not giving into the fear and recognizing and standing firm on my truth. You are in alignment and you are serving the kingdom of heaven, always going to have that opposition to that in some capacity. Now, I certainly would have had no way of knowing that this group of people was gonna go to the lengths that they went to. All I could do was continue to troubleshoot and focus on the goals that I had already set and really remain grounded, because it was very clear to me that they were intentionally attacking my stability, my abundance, intentionally attacking my business, my character. And still at this time, I thought to some degree that it really was just about my purpose. Like they didn't like the fact that I was helping people heal. They didn't like the fact that I was being authentic in my message and that I was doing it independently and being quite successful. That it really, the kingdom of darkness and, whoever your adversary is, and even people that you wouldn't expect don't want to see you happy. And you really can't even give energy to that either. And so really just doing what I could. I spent a good amount of time working and looking for advocacy groups and working with Children and Family Services in Medina County, just keeping them informed and seeing what benefits in the interim that I could utilize until the situation was dealt with. Like I said, I couldn't even post my website because it would just get completely inundated or it wouldn't show up on the Google feed. And it's like, okay. And even still, it was more difficult because there was such an effort with the gang stalking and the people around me. It's like, who are these people? It's like, I truly had no idea what they were hoping to gain at that point. And I thought, well, at the very least, I can continue to make my messages, continue to share my wisdom, continue to make the content that I had planned on making. I figured, well, this has got to get cleared up at some point. So whenever whoever is intentionally trying to block me or blacklist me or whatever you want to call it, eventually they're going to have to get moved out of the way. And so whatever I have to do, at least I'll already have this content. But in the meantime, I thought, well, even if I monetize my content, if I can't take clients right now, I still have that opportunity. And if I wanted to use some of my content from previously to do some like independent, private, personal training or whatever, I could do that also. And really, I wanted to share my message even with the people that were opposing me. The people that for whatever reason felt entitled to participate in gang stalking and the harassment and the solicitation and all of it. At that time, God had really put it on my spirit to study John the Baptist. And that really helped me get through that period of time to understand and that our mission when we're serving God is serving the kingdom of darkness in a way of helping them heal, helping free them from whatever is keeping them in the chains of participating in activities like this, and so sharing from a vulnerable space and being honest about what effect that situation was having on my life, even though I know that it would appear as though whatever platform I made, whatever closed container that I was sort of locked inside of, it would have only been the people that were participating in the doxing and the shadow ban. I believe it was probably likely a media group that was intercepting my data and rerouting data. And what I discovered was that there was many different links for all of the social apps. I don't know how typical this is or not, but I was observing the patterns within the different containers or links or wherever they were routing data to. And I noticed that there was others within certain algorithms that were also talking about gang stalking, we're also talking about being targeted. It's talking about similar things, but again, because of the way that these weirdos layer the chaos and the manipulation, they will also flood spaces with people that are actually copying you even in that. It's a way to desensitize. So even somebody, if they start talking about being victimized, that it sort of numbs people out to helping victims. It when you hear so much, kind of like the same thing with the school pew-pews, people have become somewhat, I wouldn't say complacent, but when you think about, 15 years ago, 20 years ago with Columbine versus now, there's a certain level of apathy. It starts to become expected, right? And so people are less likely to advocate or to want to support or to want to investigate. And so that's one of the tactics that they use. So I wasn't sure. One of the real giveaways for me was people that were saying that they were being gang stalked or they were being targeted or somebody had stolen their identity. If somebody had thousands of views or likes or followers on their platforms, it was no, you're not targeted. And, even to some degree, the gang stalking, even the harassment, I turned the comments off. It was it was all going to be an attempt to affect me. And I understood that. I understood whatever comments and even to some degree the algorithm being the way that it was, with specific type of messaging that is designed to kind of incite fear or incite anger, lower your vibration. Part of what made me sort of more inclined to believe that Derek was involved or somebody connected to Derek, maybe potentially he was cohabitating with, there was definitely a strong effort to message around mistresses and side pieces and whatever it is. But see, these people are so stupid because it's I'm not a mistress, nor was I ever a side piece, nor would I ever be. And I dang sure wouldn't have a whole platform about it. It's and I definitely wouldn't be targeting or showing how unhealed I am by expressing that onto social media. It's not a flex that your man cheated on you. and so I definitely considered that, but I also considered that there was just a group of people that were specifically messaging that so that I would be fearful of Derek, as an attempt to, separate us or make me want to run away from him or like whatever. But it's like, I already hadn't talked to him for months and months and months. So it's like, these people are so unintelligent, y'all. People that do things like this, and this is why these people have to be exposed. And it's also why I'm messaging it like this. That's why I'm giving everybody my mindset and like the specifics, because even though they don't want to take accountability, they need to be found out, because hate crimes, stalking, stealing, identity theft, using and abusing positions of power, banks, financial systems, artificial intelligence, like the abuse of this is so dangerous. And because these people that do this, they don't believe in karma. And people who do not believe in karma, this is what they're saying. I don't learn my lessons. I don't believe in learning lessons. I'm entitled to do whatever I want. I can manipulate, use magic, use sorcery to avoid receiving the karma that is due to me. And you might, or you might not be, depending on, what you've experienced in your life, be just surprised that there are quite a few people that think like this. And there are also quite a few people that don't understand or are unwilling to look at the fact that their codependency, their people pleasing, their avoidance even, is also protecting someone from receiving their karma. When you stay attached to a narcissist, when you stay attached or connected to any kind of group, when you're feeding someone's ego, or when you're projecting out at other people because you don't want to heal, you're protecting people because you have a savior complex as a codependent or a people pleaser, even as an avoidant to some degree, because you're getting some validation around whatever loyalty that you have. But what you're not recognizing is that you're in a stronghold with the devil. And that's truly what a trauma bond is, because you're being traumatized, or you're trying to avoid feeling the trauma, or you're trying to avoid healing the trauma. And so you're staying connected for whatever justification you're giving yourself. And this is a lot of times why narcissists jump from one to the next, to the next, to the next. This is also why cult family systems, closed religious networks, controlling societies, secret societies with hierarchies, it's all about people avoiding their karma. Because the more people, the more layers of people that they can screw over, betray, throw under the bus, project on, the more layers that they have, they avoid being completely exposed for who they truly are. I'm hoping this video and it being shared and people using whatever expertise they have, and I am definitely more invested and more convinced that the internet sleuths and internet investigators are far more effective than trusting the justice system at this point, which is extremely sad, but maybe they also don't want to receive their karma. That's not my problem. My child is being deeply, deeply affected right now. And I'm being deeply affected also. I don't want to, nor do I deserve to, have to live with this bullcrap anymore. And the people that I'm meant to be serving and helping heal and serving my purpose, and I have a big purpose in this world, did a lot of work. I had to do a lot of work. I had to sacrifice a lot already, and I'm unwilling to continue to sacrifice anything else. And while I believe the exposure is very important for all of the people invested in this type of just disgusting, diabolical, evil behavior, they also get an opportunity to heal. I understand, because of the nature of how far these people went, that they probably are very fearful of the consequences at this point, but that's also not my problem. Like, you can be in fear if you want, but I'm not going to continue to not even be able to take a walk outside, not have to worry about somebody trying to intentionally get me into a car accident, somebody following me everywhere that I go, somebody stalking me or monitoring me. I'm just not going to deal with that. I have to worry like every time I download an app or check my bank account from my phone, if I'm using any kind of electronic service for payment collection through my phone, and PayPal or Cash App, I don't want to have to worry that somebody's just going to come in or whatever it is. I don't want to worry that my clients are going to be targeted or people that I'm working with. That's why these people have to be exposed. And not to mention the fact that they're stealing from me right now. Like, there is a psychopath white knuckling my identity right now. Numerous ones, actually, I think. But like, the thought that there are people out here literally operating my brand with my name, like walking around with my name and my brand. How is this allowed to go on? It's actually insane to me. But the effort and what they did leading up to it and how many people were involved here is what people really need to understand. And there's a lot of people asking questions about things that are happening in the world right now, and you're overlooking people that are still experiencing the same thing. And granted, being oppressed and having my platform shut down and being blacklisted, having my IP address blocked from websites, from government sites, from social media sites. The last time I even tried to make an Instagram, I couldn't even make an Instagram because I was like, well, let me bounce around, go back to Instagram and go back to Facebook, like find some kind of way to have an outlet here so I can speak about what's happening to me. But that's how on top of me these people were. That's also how I knew like they had to be in my neighborhood. They had to be. I also started to understand that there were some level of military people here involved, or government people involved. Medina County Sheriff, and I don't live in Brunswick anymore, but I mean, all of them that I spent so much time, even the Medina County prosecutor, even the family court, like these people that have a legal obligation, like it's a part of their civil duty to investigate and protect people. And the amount of injustice is so extreme. And I think there's a lot of people that are questioning who's involved and why are they involved and all of that. And it's like, well, I can say for 100% certain that there definitely was some involvement with me as a Christian minister. So it's highly likely that there's far more people involved than they really want to take accountability for. And I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to villainize anybody. I am, though, going to share this with the public and let people come up with their own conclusions. I am going to share facts, receipts, pictures, anything that people request of me, I'm going to share because, again, if the general public, if investigation journalists and internet sleuths can come up with a conclusion, if they themselves can solve something that should have been relatively easy to solve, that should tell people a lot. That should tell people a lot. And I believe that they will be able to, because I'm the one that has the facts.